Hey everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack on Productions. Today I, Bancroft, will be going over my Janemba mill deck. So, like always, before we go through the entire profile, if you are new to the channel, hit that like and subscribe button. If you enjoy our content, hit that bell if you want to see more of this content coming your way. Let's get into this duel. Alright, so Janemba mill. If you're not familiar with Janemba, you cannot include cards of energy cost of 5 or more in your deck. It's okay. It's fine. Auto. When this card attacks, draw one card, then place 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck into their drop. So, that's the idea of milling. When your life is 4 or less, you may choose 2 of your energy, switch them to active, and flip this card over. Once flipped, the card retains the... When this card attacks, draw 1 card, and you place 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck into their drop area, but this card gains a new ability. Auto. When this card is attacked, you may place 1 blue card from your hand to your, in your drop area. If you do, negate the attack and negate the skill for duration of game. So it's a one-time negate, which is pretty nice. So this is just your standard Janemba mill deck for starters. So I do have the chain in here. It's something unique. It's not something special. I just wanted to kind of go back to what I used to love to play, and this is actually what I've been playing at my locals lately. So it's just a fun deck. So hope you all enjoyed the rest of the deck. So this is typically my charge card. It's Checkland Beerus. I mean, this is a blue-yellow deck. Beerus is a great one to charge, because from this point on, anytime I charge another Beerus, I could just charge it in active mode, which is pretty nice. That's pretty much it. If you were to play this card, you draw 1 card. That's it. Alright, so getting into the actual Janemba routine. We'll play 4 of the Sake Demons. Auto, when you play this card, choose up to 1 choose up to 1 of these effects. Either A, look up to 7 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 Janemba card among them, add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. Or look up to 1 card from the bottom of your deck, choose up to 1 Janemba card among them, add it to your hand, then shuffle your deck. So pretty much helps you find Janemba. Now the reason why it states the bottom of your deck is because the evolved target for Psychic Demon is Childish Heart Janemba. For 2 blue energy, you evolve it on top of this one. Sorry, other way around. You evolve this on top of that one. This card does have Barrier and an Activate main. For 1 blue energy, choose up to 1 Janemba card from your deck, send it to your warp, then shuffle your deck and place this card at the bottom of its owner's deck. Choose up to 1 Janemba card with energy cost 4 in your warp and play it. So, once it's at the bottom of the deck, you can play another Psychic Demon to pull this from the bottom of your deck instead. So it works out for you. Your targets for this I play in this deck. I play only 2 of the Janemba Agent Destruction. It does have crit, but this card's auto. Activate the skill when you play this card from your hand or warp. At the end of your turn, if it is your turn, choose up to 1 of your energy, switch it to active mode. So it helps you reset your energy if you were to happen to tap out, which is pretty nice. This card does have an Activate main. Send this card to its owner's warp, draw 1 card, then your opponent places the top 3 cards of their deck in their drop area. So it's a fun way of milling out that deck. Then I choose to play 2 Demon Sword Janembas. Crit and Deflect. So typically if I'm playing a deck that's a little bit more counterplay heavy, I go for my Deflect options in this case. But Active Main. Place this card at the bottom of its owner's deck, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, send it to its owner's warp, and place 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck into the drop area. So it's another 2 more cards getting milled. It pretty much gets rid of any battle card. Unfortunately, it does not get past Barrier, so that could be an issue. But not a lot of cards are getting Barrier anymore, so it's pretty nice. And then I chose to go with 3 Reality Bender Janembas. So this is one that you could go up to 4. It's not a bad option because not only is it crit and has Deflect, but permanent. If your opponent has 4 or more energy, there are battle cards in your opponent's battle area, and there are no battle cards in your battle area. Reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 3. So this makes this card a 1 energy cost card to play into the field. Then, at the end of your turn, place this card at the bottom of its owner's deck, and then place 2 cards from the top of your opponent's deck to the drop area. So, if it works out correctly, you play this card first, and then you go to other things afterwards, because you don't want to have anything on the battlefield. Because if you do, you lose the ability to play this card for 1 energy. So that's pretty much the Janemba package. Simple, sweet, easy. So to protect myself, I chose to go with a multicolor super combo, in this case, the Zamasu one. If you're not familiar with this Zamasu one, if your leader card is blue or yellow, when you combo with this card from your hand, choose up to one of your opponent's leader cards or battle cards, switch them to rest mode. So if your opponent swings a battle card first, I could super combo, tap their leader, so it practically works in the game. Or if your opponent swings a leader card first and they have a battle card in the field, just do the other way around. Tap that battle card instead. Unfortunately, it does not target unisons. That's fine. We have other negates for that. So once you use a super combo, though, I typically play the Agent Destruction Bojack, the 4-drop one. So blocker, which helps me stop any attack for their next one. Arrival for 1 yellow energy, as long as you combo a blue-yellow card. Boom. When you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, switch it to rest mode, then place the top card of your opponent's deck in their drop area. So let's say your opponent has a good field. They swing a battle card first. They have another battle card already. You combo, tap the leader. Arrival, tap the other battle card. Then they mill a card from their deck. So, pretty nice. If I do not have the super combo in my hand, but I can always use this card to negate within instead. So, negate this counterattack. Negate the attack and play this card. Permanent. During your opponent's turn, if there is a multicolor card, which has to be both blue and yellow of energy. Sorry, let me start that over. During your opponent's turn, if there is a card that has both blue and yellow in your energy, reduce the energy cost of this card in your hand by 2. So it makes this negate a 1 yellow cost card. When you play this card, your opponent replaces the top card of their deck into the drop rate. Just more ways of getting that out of the way. Try and get rid of their deck as fast as possible with as many battle cards as possible. So for our simpler negates, we do play 2 Flying Nimbus just in case we need them. If you're playing a more heavy aggro deck, you might want to put a little bit more extra here and take out a couple of the other ones, just so that way you're seeing this. As you can tell, we do have plenty of yellow targets, and I do have a few more we haven't gotten to yet, which we'll get to in a second. We play 3 of the Whis, which for 1 blue energy, you negate the attack, then choose one of your energy and switch it to active. So it keeps me going for more attacks, or for more negates. And speaking of more negates, Dimension Magic. If you're not familiar with Dimension Magic, it restands 2 blue energy when you use this card to negate with. You can also use this card by taking a life if you have more than 5 cards in your drop area. Alright, so next card, we get into the new Unison. So, 2 blue energy to play this Unison. For a +0 and ±0, activate main. You and your opponent draw 1 card, then your opponent places the top card of their deck into the drop area. So, I like using that one a lot because it gets rid of 2 of your opponent's cards. The only downside is that it does give them a draw, though. So they draw 1 card, then they get rid of a card. So they could get a pretty good card out of that. And typically, I don't ever really use the other +1 or minuses on this card, unless I really, really need to, because I like to get rid of my opponent's deck as fast as possible. And a lot of times, my opponents will try to go after this card instead, and it has 2 markers on it, so a lot of times they think, oh, they got that Trunks. Let me hit that Janemba as soon as possible. They forget that I can't play anything more than 4 energy. Or it has to be 4 or less. So Trunks is an energy cost of 5. That's why I said that. But if you were to use the +1, it gives this card crit. If you were to use the -2, activate main or battle. If your opponent has 15 or less cards in their deck, this card gains 15,000 power and triple strike per turn. So if you were to swing this thing with 3 markers on it, and your opponent says no negate, -2 is activate battle, give it triple strike, and plus 15,000. It's pretty nice. It's a good way to sneak that in there. Now, because I can't play the Trunks, we do play 2 with the Frost Deadly Poison. Battle card your opponent is playing is played in rest mode with its skills negated for a duration of a turn. Then draw 1 card. Then if your life is 3 or less, choose up to 1 of your blue or yellow energies and switch it to active mode. Pretty nice. This next one could be substituted out for another card, but for right now, it is the Ultra Instinct Unstoppable Goku, which is a counterplay, a counterattack. Permanent, this card's skills can't be negated in any areas by your opponent's skills. Auto, when you play this card, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, return it to its owner's hand, and if it's your opponent's turn, draw 1 card. This card can also be a Mafuba, if you need be. It's just another way of stopping a card from pushing against you. To help keep my energy where I need it, it's a blue deck, so I do place into being plus 5,000 to a card, restand 2 energy, which is pretty nice. And then my ideal card that I use for the Flying Nimbus, I play 3 Great Apes on Goku, Saiyan Instincts. You pay 2 energy, draw 2 cards. I mean, it's pretty awesome. Activate main, place this card from your drop to your, was it warp? Okay, cool. Some cards say removed from game. This one just says to warp. And you draw 2 cards, which is pretty nice. So that is my current take on my basic Janemba mill deck. I wanted to kind of showcase this sooner than later because I want to make this deck a little bit better. So if you all have definitely any input, put in the comments down below on how to make this deck better. If you have your own take on Janemba mill, put it in the comments as well and let me check that out. Like always, thanks for tuning in and read your cards, know your plays, fluff out.